This is an excerpt from the Book of Days for January 30th about the Calves Head Club. Here we go. The Gentleman's Magazine for 1735, Volume 5, page 105, under the date of January 30th, gives the following piece of intelligence. Some young noblemen and gentlemen met at a tavern in Suffolk Street, and called themselves the Calves Head Club, dressed up a calf's head in a napkin, and after some huzzas threw it into a bonfire, and dipped napkins in their red wine, and waved them out at window. The mob had strong beer given them, and for a time hallooed as well as the best, but taking disgust at some healths proposed, grew so outrageous that they broke all the windows and forced themselves into the house. But the guards being sent for prevented further mischief. The Weekly Chronicle of February 1st, 1735, states that the damage was estimated at some £100, and that the guards were posted all night in the street for the security of the neighborhood. Horace Walpole says the mob destroyed part of the house. Sir William Stanhope was one of the members. This riotous occurrence was the occasion of some verses in the Grub Street Journal, of which the following lines may be quoted, as throwing some additional light on the scene. Strange times, when noble peers secure from riot, can't keep Noel's annual festival in quiet. Through sashes broke, dirt, stones, and brands thrown at 'em, which if not scanned was brand alum magnatum. Forced to run down the vaults for safer quarters, and in coal holes their ribbons hide in garters. The manner in which Noel's, Oliver Cromwell's, annual festival is here alluded to seems to show that the bonfire, with the calf's head and other accompaniments, had been exhibited in previous years. In confirmation of this fact, there exists a print entitled The True Effigies of the Members of the Calves Head Club, held on the 30th of January, 1734, in Suffolk Street, in the county of Middle Essex. Being the year before the riotous occurrence above related, this print, as well will be observed in the copy above given, shows a bonfire in the center of the foreground, with the mob in the background, a house with 3 windows, the central window exhibiting 2 men, one of whom is about to throw the calf's head into the bonfire below. The window on the right shows 3 persons drinking health, that on the left 2 other persons, one of whom wears a mask and has an axe in his hand. It is a singular fact that a political club of this revolutionary character should have been in existence at so late a period as the 8th year of the reign of George II. We find no mention of it for many years preceding this time, and after the riot it was probably broken up. The first notice that we find of this strange club is in a small quarto tract of 22 pages, which has been reprinted in the Harleian Miscellany. It is entitled The Secret History of the Calves Head Club, or The Republican Unmasked, wherein is fully shown the religion of the Calves Head heroes and their anniversary Thanksgiving songs on the 30th of January, by them called anthems, for the years 1693, 1694, 95, 96, 97. The secret history, which occupies less than half of 22 pages, is vague and unsatisfactory, and the 5 songs or anthems are entirely devoid of literary or any other merit. The author states that after the Restoration, the eyes of the government being upon the whole party, they were obliged to meet with a great deal of precaution. But now that they meet almost in public manner, and apprehend nothing, yet all the evidence which he produces concerning their meetings is hearsay. He had nerve himself been present at the club. He states that, happening in the late reign to be in company of a certain active Whig, that the said Whig informed him that he knew most of the members of the club, and had been often invited to their meetings, but had never attended. That Milton and other creatures of the Commonwealth had instituted this club, as he was informed, in opposition to Bishop Juxon, Dr. Sanderson, Dr. Hammond, and other divines of the Church of England, who met privately every 30th of January, and though it was under the time of the usurpation, had compiled a private form of service of the day, not much different from what we find in the liturgy. But the author of the secret history has more evidence to produce, by another gentleman who, almost 8 years ago, went out of mere curiosity to the club, and has since furnished me with the following papers. The songs or anthems, I was informed, that it was kept in no fixed house, but that they removed as they saw convenient, that the place they met in, when he was with them, was a blind alley about Moore's Fields, that the company wholly consisted of Independents and Anabaptists, that the famous Jerry White, formerly chaplain to Oliver Cromwell, who no doubt of it came to sanctify with his pious exhortations the ribaldry of the day, said grace, that after the cloth was removed, the anniversary anthems, as they're impiously called, it was sung, and a calf's head skull filled with wine or other liquor, and then a brimmer went around to the pious members of those worthy patriots who had killed the tyrant and delivered the country from the arbitrary sway. Such is the story told in the edition of 1703, but in the edition of 1713, after the word Mooresfield, the narrative is continued as follows. Where an axe was hung up in the club room, and was revered as a principal symbol in this diabolical sacrament, their bill of fare was a large dish of calves' heads, dressed several ways, by which they represented the king, and his friends who had suffered in his cause, a large pike with a small one in his mouth as an emblem of tyranny, a large cod's head by which they pretended to represent the persons of the king, singly, a boar's head with an apple in its mouth to represent the king, and after the repast was over, one of the elders presented an icon basilique, which was with great solemnity burned upon the table whilst the anthems were singing. After this, another produced Milton's Defensio Populi Anglicani, upon which all laid their hands and made a protestation form of an oath, forever to stand by and maintain the same. The company wholly consisted of Anabaptists. The 8th edition, published in 1713, contains 7 engravings, including the one just described, and the text is augmented to 224 pages. The additional matter consists of the following articles: an appendix to the secret history of the Calves Head Club, remarkable accidents and transactions at the Calves Head Club, by way of continuation of the secret history thereof. Herein tells us that on the 30th January, 1706-07, some young men, all in Souls College, Oxford, dined together at 12 o'clock, and amused themselves with cutting off the heads of a number of woodcocks, in contempt of the memory of the blessed martyr. They had tried to get calves' heads, but the cook refused to dress them.